Who is the best killer in Forsaken? Is there even a best killer? In today's video, we will go over each killer and rank them. The metric we'll be using is who is the most effective killer, which is to say, the best killer is the one who has the most well-rounded abilities to ensure kills. At number 4, we have Cool Kid. I have him as the least effective, and I'll just be listing the pros and cons of each killer as to why they're ranked where they're ranked. So first, we'll start off with the strong points that Cool Kid has. So one of his pros is extreme mobility. He is one of the fastest killers in the game, allowing him to apply constant pressure to survivors. Next is strong tracking ability. With his clones, this allows him to locate survivors easily, keeping them from hiding effectively, and applying even more pressure than he already is with his speed. Can drain survivor stamina. So his ability is force movement, which is basically going to wear the survivors down, making them use up their stamina constantly. And then the last pro is simply a culmination of all these points, which is just he is kind of hard to escape from. Survivors will always feel his presence due to his speed. Now we go into the cons. The first con I'll be bringing up is just his weak kill potential. He lacks high burst damage or a finishing move. Another one is no crowd control. So basically he has no way to slow or stun survivors, making it possible for them to juke him. Struggles in open spaces. If survivors have room to move, they can just avoid his attacks. His attacks are much harder to land in an open map. And the last con, exhausting survivors. If they can manage stamina well, they'll be able to outlast him easily. So even though Cool Kid has really good speed and tracking, his lack of burst damage and crowd control keeps him from being an elite killer, because survivors can just juke him in open spaces and stall out his pressure. For number 3, we have Jason. His pros are high damage output. Gash and Wound deals 50 damage, and Behead finishes survivors fast. No diddy. Another pro is fast close quarters combat. If anyone gets close to him, if he gets close up to anyone and there's a sentinel and they make a mistake, they're gonna get punished very badly. So he excels in close quarters combat. Another one is anti-stun. Rage and Pace lets him counter stuns, keeping pressure on survivors. Momentum based playstyle. If you can play him aggressively, he can snowball kills really fast. Now let's go into the cons. He has no ranged abilities. He will definitely struggle against survivors who play keep away, basically survivors that keep their distance. His stamina management is crucial. Jason burns stamina very quickly, and if it runs out, he's helpless because he relies on close quarter combat. He's also super vulnerable to survivors with stuns. If Rage and Pace isn't available, he can be countered easily because he relies so heavily on being close range. And then the last con, which to me is pretty detrimental, is that he has no slow effects. Survivors can always run away if they have stamina left because he has no way of slowing them down. The reason why he's number 3 is because Jason is a close quarter combat killer, but his lack of range and stamina issues make him weaker against smart survivors. He can dominate if he catches people off guard, but his limited chase tools hold him back. And the reason why I would put him over Cool Kid is because he just has higher raw damage. He has bleed effects and kill confirmation tools, making him a bigger immediate threat. Cool Kid is good at keeping survivors moving, but mobility alone doesn't secure kills. That's why I would put Cool Kid at number 4. He's more of an annoyance than a true killer. Speed alone doesn't win games, damage and control do. At number 2, we have John Doe, and here are his pros. He's a very technical killer. If you can master his mechanics, it makes him unpredictable and deadly. He has very strong map control. Corrupt energy and digital footprint help him manipulate survivors' movements. If you can play John Doe at a high level, this makes it easy to corner survivors. He has very good survivor tracking. 404 error and digital footprint provide consistent vision of survivor locations. And then he has even more pressure. Speed boost after landing corrupt energy makes him hard to escape. So you already got damaged by him, and now he's way faster and he's going to pressure you. Now the few cons that he has is that there is just a high skill floor. He's definitely the hardest killer to play. You require high map awareness and a deep understanding of how survivors play, and obviously your own abilities to actually be effective. Corrupt energy blocks vision or path. So this ability can be a double-edged sword, because if you don't use it carefully, you can close yourself off by accident and just not be able to see the survivors as well if badly placed, which I'm not not gonna lie, happens to me a lot. So the reason why he's number 2, even though it's a tough decision, I think he's the best killer for a skilled player just because of his strong tracking, movement manipulation, and combat tools, but his effectiveness depends on execution. If the player misuses his abilities, he can struggle a lot. And due to the skill floor or the threshold of skill, I'm gonna have to place him in 2, even though it's a very close with the number 1. And at the number 1 spot, we have 1x4. It's the most effective killer. Here are his pros. Strong ranged abilities. Entanglement and Mass Infection allow him to deal damage without relying on melee combat. Simple as that. Very good survivor tracking. Unstable Eye lets him see survivors quickly and maintain pressure since he gets a speed boost when he uses that ability. On top of that, he has very high health, 1110 HP. Makes him more durable than the others. Even though it isn't that important, it's still useful. He can summon minions. Rejuvenate the Rotten adds extra map pressure, making it harder for survivors to navigate the map, especially if you're already low on health. Of course, he's the best at group damage. Mass Infection spreads damage across multiple survivors, making healing difficult. And now here are his cons. Slower base speed. At an 8 walk speed, he is one of the slowest killers, making direct chases difficult. Minions are situational. If survivors play well and avoid dying early, his minions become less impactful. The reason why I put him number 1 is just because he has the most well-rounded and oppressive toolkit. He doesn't need to rely on chasing like Jason. He has strong area control, ranged attacks, and tracking abilities that make him the hardest killer to hide from. Survivors gotta play really carefully or risk being infected and overwhelmed. So the final ranking from most to least effective is number 1, 1x4, best map control, tracking, and group damage, hardest to avoid. Number 2, John Doe. He is the best for skilled players. He has exceptional map control. Number 3, Jason. He has high damage output, but struggles with range and stamina. And at number 4, Cool Kid. He has really good mobility and tracking, but just doesn't have the damage or kill confirmation abilities. So in my opinion, if you're looking for the most effective killer, 1x4 is the best choice due to his ability to control the game from start to finish, even without chasing survivors directly. Now I will say this is a hard list to make, because just because I put Cool Kid or Jason the lowest doesn't mean I think they're bad killers. I think they're all very good killers, and I think the gap between them isn't something astronomical. Regardless, I still think I gave some good reasons, and it's something that you should consider when choosing a main for killer, or just in general of who you want to be as killer. I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this, and I want you guys to drop your ranking in the comments along with your reasoning. And yeah, that'd be it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.